There's nothing else on the planet more powerful in initial dating than that concept. There's 7 different things that you can do to trigger a woman to chase you, and they have nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with being good looking or any of these things that guys think that they need. They think like, I have to have this, I have to have this, and they don't. If you know the tweaks, it's actually a lot easier than guys think.
They call him the king of Instagram, Dan Bilzerian.
Stan Bilzerian.
I salute you, sir.
Hi, Dan. Nice to meet you in person. You have an image, so I have some questions.
Okay.
You've had the parties, the girls, the cars, the fame. Where are you at today?
I'm just at a place where I want to do things that make me happy. I don't get that much enjoyment out of buying a Ferrari or, buying $1 million watch. When I help people out, that's one of the few times that I'm just like, I don't know, I feel good, I'm stoked. But I also just feel like there's a big problem. There's like this whole like attack on masculinity, just f***ing bad. It's like bad for dating, it's bad for women.
Okay, so what do you think are the main problems that guys face today?
They have the wrong approach, they have bad information, and because of this, they're getting bad results. Bad results breeds a lack of confidence. It starts just like perpetuating the problem. As a woman, you could fall down on the f***ing driveway, go into your f***ing car and meet your dream guy because he stops and thinks you're hot, and he makes it happen. As a guy, a hot girl's just not gonna barge into his basement and say, hey, I'm here. Like, no, that has to like go out and like be proactive. Not only does he have to meet a woman, he has to make himself attractive. It sounds like a lot of work, but if you know the tweaks and the things that you can do, it's actually a lot easier than guys think.
Let's say I'm the average guy. I'm not charismatic, I'm not rich. Maybe I don't think I'm that attractive. What would you tell me?
For me, like I didn't get a lot of girls in high school. I went in the military, I was around guys for 4 years. No women wanted to date me. Like I've gone to the bar, gotten nervous. Like I went up to talk to the girl, she rejected me, like looked at me like a piece of shit. So I've like seen that whole side of it and I get it, like I understand what it's like to want a girl and have women not want you. I had this epiphany in college. I was the same guy that I was in the military and nothing had changed. But I realized once I triggered women to chase me, all of my flaws disappeared. When you're chasing something, you're not thinking about, do I want this? You're thinking about, how do I get this? And when you're thinking about how do you get something, you're not qualifying it, right? The moment I hit on you and I tell you how great you are and how pretty your eyes are, whatever bull that I tell you, you're looking at me from the perspective of, do I want this guy? Is he good enough? Like, what's wrong with him? It's kind of the same way as if you go to a house and a house is for sale. Okay, I want an inspection. I want to make sure I don't make a bad purchase. Versus if you're at an auction and 20 are bidding on this house and you really like it, you're not thinking about what's wrong with the house. You're like, how do I beat these other 20 guys to get it? When you trigger women to chase you, the whole perception changes, right? And so whether you're a short guy, whether you're a fat guy, whether you're a broke guy, like all these things disappear if the woman is in pursuit. Something can't chase you if you're chasing it.
Were you ever scared to approach girls?
Yeah, when I was in high school, I was like scared to talk to hot girls. It was one of those things where like me and my buddies would be like, oh, you gonna go talk to her? No, you go talk to her, and it's like then you go up and you get rejected and then all your friends laugh at you. I think that's a very common thing. You get nervous going up to a hot girl and talking to her, like if you don't have a lot of experience, and also if you think she's out of your league, and then you approach in the wrong way, and then you encourage rejection by your bad approach. So I think it really depends on your perspective, and my perspective when I was younger was like, I don't want to get rejected.
Was there a girl that you really wanted that you couldn't get?
There was a lot of girls that I really wanted that I couldn't get. I would say every girl from like junior high to the military that I found attractive was a girl that I wanted that I couldn't get. I had posters of girls on the wall. I thought about what it would be like to have a hot girlfriend. I would see these people in relationships and just not understand why women didn't like me. It was something I struggled with. One that stands out is I was in 11th grade and I'd finally gotten a date with a hot girl. And I told my friends about it, I told my parents about it. We're gonna go to prom. My dad's cheap ass didn't want to buy me a suit, so he gave me his suit, which, the guy's 6'1", I'm 5'9". And it was like 4 inches too long. I'm walking out there with this clown suit. I'm ready to go on this date to prom with this girl. And she canceled. And so I didn't know what to do. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to tell my parents. And so I just put on the suit and I got in my car and drove off, and I sat in a parking lot for 2 hours just feeling like a fucking loser and a failure and wondering what I was going to tell my parents when I came home because they were going to ask me how prom went. It was a shitty feeling, and I had a lot of those. I had a lot of those shitty feelings, like I said, which is probably what motivated me to make a strong change and fix this problem. I think there's 2 roads that you can go down when you have experiences like that, and one of them is quitting and just feeling like I'm not attracted to women and it's just not going to work for me. And I think that's a path that a lot of guys lately are taking. And I think the other road that you can go down is figure out how to make yourself more attractive and do something about it. And that's what I did. As a man, like, you can make yourself more attractive. And I think that's one of the things that, like, guys just don't realize. They think what I'm born with is what I'm stuck with, and, like, I'm either attractive or I'm not, but you can change that. And I think that's the biggest thing that I want to, like, impart to guys, is that they have a choice and they can make a difference.
Okay, Dan, be honest here. Have you ever been heartbroken?
Yeah, I had this girlfriend that I was fully in love. She was super smart. She was interesting. She was intelligent. All of, like, the really important you know? And so I really wanted to make it work, and it didn't work. Yeah, that messed me up. And I see guys go through heartbreaks, and when they don't have options and when they just stew on it, it's like I've seen guys like borderline suicide all over it. So it's definitely something that I think guys struggle with, and the less options they have and the more they feel like I'm never going to meet another girl, the more depressing it is. And he feels like there's nobody else on earth that might like him, and this was the only one. That's like a really tough pill to swallow.
Was there a moment where you realized that there's a better way to approach dating?
My big light bulb moment was in the military. I've been approaching all these girls. I've been hitting on all these girls, and I've been just getting shitty result after shitty result after shitty result. And I think it all stems from doing the wrong thing. The commonly accepted thing to do with women is, hey, I think you're beautiful. Can I buy you a drink? And it's like, that seems normal, but like, you've basically told this woman that you want to sleep with her and you're willing to pay to do it. I mean, if we're breaking it down, I mean, he's not coming up to you because he thinks you have a great personality. He's coming up to you because he thinks you're hot and he probably wants to fuck you, right? And the example I give is, it's like playing poker. If you play poker and everybody fucking shows their cards, it's a lot easier to win at poker. Well, when a guy is hitting on you, he's telling you that he wants to fuck you, so it's the equivalent in a poker game of showing your cards. I mean, almost all guys start the interaction from that position, which is a position of massive detriment. You're coming into this interaction with a weight around your ankles, and you're gonna have to run a marathon. And it wasn't until I got to college that I really started to understand the male-female dynamics. It was just very eye-opening, because now women were coming to me because I figured out how to trigger these women to chase. And I went from being able to get 0 pussy to having 14 girls the first semester. And it's not like I studied pickup. It's not like I got more confident. There was no change. The only change was I had a different approach. Once that happened, it was effortless.
Trigger her to chase. What does that mean exactly?
There's 7 different things that you can do to trigger a woman to chase you, and they have nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with being good looking or any of these things that guys think that they need. Because when you're chasing her, she's looking at you with this magnifying glass, focusing on your flaws, focusing on the reasons why you may not be good enough. Because when you can get something, what's the natural next reaction is do I want it? I know I can get it. Now, do I want to have it? It's human nature, right? There are subtle ways that you can do it. For instance, Neil Strauss. He was on a TV show with Jessica Alba. He asked her, other than your looks, what's good about you?
So if you're beautiful, so what? You got lucky in the gene pool, right? So if I was to ask you to name 3 things about yourself that would make me want to get to know you better, and none of them can be about your looks or what you do, what would they be?
I'm loyal,
right?
Reliable,
right?
And hardworking.
That's awesome. Guys are always trying to sell themselves to women. Instead, you kind of got to flip the script, make someone start selling themselves to you.
By just asking that one question, now all of a sudden he's taken away her strongest trait, her good looks, which has gotten her everywhere in life. He's also framed it to where she's trying to sell herself. And when you're trying to sell yourself to somebody, you're not thinking about, do I like this guy? You're trying to convince this guy to like you. It just changes the game. It just changes the entire psychology of it. And it's a very big difference. Small things will create a very different dynamic. Making a girl chase you and keeping her chasing you is so fucking powerful. There's nothing else on the planet more powerful fucking initial dating than that concept.
How does that work?
Okay, so one of the ways to trigger a woman to chase you is to elicit curiosity. And like I said, I think that's one of the mistakes that guys make is they overassure girls, they take the mystery out of it, they take the curiosity out of it. And look, women like the curiosity. That's why they read these romance books that have all these crazy twists and turns, and people like to wonder. And so the more she wonders about you, the more she's gonna be attracted to you. An example I would give is they click over on a phone call and they want to tell the girl, hey, I was talking to my mother, or that was an important business call or whatever, and they're overassuring the girl, they're letting the girl know that they don't have other options. And I think you should be doing the exact opposite. Make her ask you, make her wonder who you're on that call with, as opposed to telling her, hey, that was my brother, or that was my mom, I have to take this call. But when you do that, all the mystery goes away. She's not thinking about you. And the goal is to make the girl think about you when you're not there. So if she's thinking about you, you've won. Because now you're in her head, and the more you're in her head, the more invested she is. And the more invested she is, the more she's gonna convince herself that she likes you.
What would you tell the guys that say, I don't want to change for a woman, I just want to be myself. I want her to like me for me?
I mean, you could be yourself and show up in Walmart clothes, or you could show up in an Armani suit. You're still yourself. It's just how you present. A lot of guys aren't really themselves when they become overly nice because they want a girl that to them, because like they're not really that nice to everybody they interact with. They're just that nice to that girl that they want to right? So is that really like who they are, or is that who they're being so they can this girl? Like, my thing is, you're just gonna make a better choice when you choose from a bigger pool. Like, if you go to a car lot and there's 3 cars there, you're probably not gonna be as happy with the car that you choose if you go to a lot that has 1,000 cars, right? So like, get the options, make as many women as possible attracted to you, make as many women as possible chase you, and then choose what is compatible with you, what's gonna make you happy, what you want.
Okay, so let's say I'm a guy who gets really nervous around good-looking girls, and I'm not charismatic, and I tend to overthink. What advice would you give me?
Understand, the attraction triggers, understand how to make yourself more attractive, understand how to trigger a girl to chase you. It changes everything. I know for a fact this works, because I've seen it work with my own 2 eyes, and I've seen it work on myself before I was famous, before I was rich, and I've coached 1,000 guys. I had one guy that made small tweaks on his Instagram, and in 1 week, he had 9 girls DM him. So it's like, I've seen it. I don't think it works. I know for a fact that it works.
So you said you started mentoring guys. How does that work?
I just break down stuff from their social media to their approach to just all the different things. And it's like, there's a lot of things that I've had a lot of experience on, and I can save them a lot of heartache and headache.
Okay, so why are you doing this?
I got to a point where I felt like I'd done everything, and the pleasure-seeking stuff wasn't really giving me the spike that it used to. And I also like a challenge. And initially, a ton of girls was a challenge. It was very hard for me in the beginning, but eventually it became so easy. I was girls without talking to them. I like a challenge, and I like to help people out. And so I feel like this is just a natural next step. Like, I dedicated a lot of my life to chasing women and doing that from a place of like getting 0 to, getting all of it. And so I know it works and I know it doesn't work. And I just can't watch my friends fumble around and this up anymore.
So you're basically saying you know how to get women, but don't you think women would make better dating coaches than men?
I mean, look, you don't ask the fish how to catch fish, you ask the fisherman. And so, like, to me, it's one of those things where, yeah, you can ask women what they want, and like 9 out of 10 times when I ask a woman what she wants, and then I look at the last 10 guys she's there's no correlation. I know what I've seen that works. A lot of it, like I said, is very counterintuitive. A lot of women know what they want to feel, but they don't necessarily know what they subconsciously react to, and they haven't like fully deconstructed it. What triggers attraction a lot of times is not the things that they want. And like jealousy, for instance, like no woman would say like, oh, I want a guy to make me feel jealous, but they would respond positively to that. Like every woman would respond positively to knowing that a guy has other options. I'm one of the few guys that has actually gone out and done this with a huge sample size of women that I knew that wanted to sleep with me, that I screwed it up with, and I could compare that to a massive sample size of girls that wanted to sleep with me that I had success with, right? And so I think that gave me a very strategic advantage to start deconstructing what works and what doesn't work in a space where like everybody else just has theory.
Why do you think some guys feel weird about getting like dating advice, getting mentored in this field? It's
a good question. I think it's probably ego, and it's weird because like guys will get coaching on boxing to badminton to chess. Like they'll get coaching on anything other than like the most important decision they make their entire life, which is who they choose as a partner. What's more important than that? What's more important than who you choose to spend the bulk of your time with? I can't think of anything. And there's so many guys doing it wrong. I think the biggest problem is that there's not like a trusted source. I could tell you a ton of good coaches for boxing. I could tell you a ton of good coaches for, all the different things, surfing, things that I like. But I can't point to one legit, like, the guru for dating. And so that's like one of the reasons like why I want to do this. I know that I have learned a shitload of stuff, and I've seen what works and I've seen what doesn't work. And I see a lot of people teaching the wrong information. And my problem with bad directions is they're fucking much worse than if you never had a map. And like small tweaks can help them get the result they want.
I love that. I feel like the dating world needs help.